Hello, and we are back with part two of today's episode, which is episode number 4. Yay. Um thanks. So interest number 2, Teray, what is it? And talk about it, please.
Okay, my interest number two is going to be relationships
Nice.
in all of their forms. So
Yeah,
that includes like platonic, familial, romantic, everything.
acquaintance relationships.
Yeah, acquaintance relationships. I don't think so much about acquaintances. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That was kind of half a joke, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, I was like,
That's the
I mean,
topic that
like,
people really
guys.
want to know. That guy that you passed on the side of the street that you think his name is Bob. Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um,
Although I call everyone my friend, even if we've met once, I'm like, ah, that's my friend.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I'll give you some space. So what do you want to talk about regarding it?
um, I guess I wanted to just talk about how I think that it's been a big interest in my life because I used to be mystified about how people could be so close, and I guess why, what are our motivations for human connection and having relationships. And it's funny because it's something that everyone, it seems like they need to work on it for their whole lives, yet it's an innate desire for people to like want relationships. So it's interesting. It's like, why is something that we all want so difficult to maintain sometimes, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Mhm.
I think all those relationships are difficult to maintain, like the family ones, the romantic ones, and the friendship ones.
Yeah, me too. I mean, as we get older, it seems like those relationships become more complicated in a way.
Mhm.
Either because, like, with familial relationships, your parents and your siblings and your other relatives are growing older. So you have to figure out, like how to take care of them, what you want to do. In terms of relationships, you start thinking about, do I really want to be serious about things? Do I want to like start a family? Oh my God. Do I want this person in my life forever? And those are very intense questions that sometimes it takes people, a really long time to learn how to answer. And then with friendships, I think as you get older, you start to see yourself either really growing apart from people or growing together. And also, they're dealing with their own, possibly starting a family and, becoming more or dedicating more time to their careers. And so the expectations of friends, changes a bit. And
Mhm.
it's, I don't know, it's just a lot of changes and it's hard to navigate.
Yeah, yeah, you said a lot of good stuff there. Yeah, totally. Yeah, life is like full of change. It's I think there's a saying like the only constant is change, and
Yeah,
that's kind of true.
very
um,
true. Very true.
with my thing, yeah, I used to try to like. It's funny that you bring that up. So like, I used to try to not let relationships, specifically like friendships, die. Like I would try
Hmm.
really, really hard to like basically keep them on life support. Like sometimes I was the only one keeping it alive. And
Hmm.
I've noticed lately if I just let it go, then it's kind of really good. Like it's hard, it's not easy for me because I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't know what I am. Insert adjective here. But I'm that kind of person that doesn't like to just like let go of control recently, I guess. Like
Mhm.
for the most part. So what I'm trying to get at is I'm learning to just like let go, and if the relationship is done, friendship or whatever, then it's done. And also in letting go, I created the space. So like if it's not done, then there's
Mhm.
space for it to change. And maybe someone will be like, you know what, I haven't reached out to you in a while. Like, let me reach out to you. And uh yeah, I don't know. It's just it's interesting. I think the hardest part for me, this is just me personally, is uh letting that change happen, because it's gonna happen whether I want it or not. So I just have to like try to be okay with it.
Yeah, it's interesting because with friendships, unlike romantic relationships, at least for me, I found that I somewhat I have more of an expectation that romantic relationships are going to end rather than friendships. It's like before this point in my life, I've thought that they're just forever, obviously, you know? And I think just now I'm seeing that sometimes I grow apart from people, and letting go has also been really hard for me to come to terms with because, I care about my friends so much. But when you start to feel that you're growing apart, I don't know. I think it is a mature thing to realize that letting go of a relationship can actually be for the better for both parties. And who knows, there's always a possibility that you'll end up growing in the same direction again.
Yeah.
But it can be unhealthy to keep and, try to breadcrumb all of these friendships because then you're not really, like you give what you want to get. And if you're only giving like little tidbits, little like beep boop beep, little breadcrumbs, then that's what you're gonna get. And at this point in life, it just doesn't feel fulfilling.
Yeah.
I think I'm seeking more security in all of my relationships.
Wow, well said.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, you took like the words right out of my head. Yeah, I feel the same way.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah, I'm just letting that sink in. That was a good line. Yeah, I used to like kind of pride myself of being like the social butterfly and being able to get along with everyone. Um,
Hmm.
and like that's cool, and there's a place and time for it. I mean, doing the show actually it really helps because I can, invite people on the show, and I have great conversations with them, and I'm glad I do. But however, I too am like, yeah, I've recently been okay with like shrinking my inner circle. I used to have like a bunch of best friends, and
Oh yeah.
now I have a very small number that I consider like best friends, and
Mhm.
that's fine. It's actually better because it means that I can. It's like less thinking. It's like, who's gonna have my back? It's like, no, I know that these three people are, and that's it. And
Yeah,
it's okay.
exactly.
Yeah. Darn it,
Yeah,
they were always
and
right when we were young, and they said, what is it? Quality over quantity.
oh yeah,
Really?
quality over
Shut up.
quantity.
I'm the
Blech.
coolest one of my grade. Or
Yeah.
prom queen. So you don't know what you're talking about, Mrs. Hag.
Yeah, I think, and it's interesting. It feels counterintuitive to have less friends and feel more security, right? It's
Yeah.
more expected, like, oh, if I spread myself thin or I have like a bunch of friends, then I'll feel more secure. But in the end, that's usually not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you go even farther and look at people who have like friends online, like, or friends in a certain online community, like maybe some of them will feel close, maybe some of them, it seems more unlikely they don't feel that close because there's so many of them. So
Mhm.
I think the more you spread your relationships, like the more you have, the more you spread your intimacy of it. And kind of like what you said, you just give like a little bit to each person.
Yeah. Hmm.
So
Because it's impossible to give a bunch of people you're all as a friend.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Yeah.
So
We're
you really have to start picking and choosing. Although I will say, I'm just starting on this journey. Like, I am just finding that I'm cutting some of my friendships down a bit because it's really hard for me. I do have a big heart, and I have the capacity, I have a great capacity to love,
Mhm.
but I think, maybe in the next few years of my life, it will be the judgment day for a lot of my relationships. And I have to be okay, when they take a step down. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully, I won't be left with no one
No,
except for
that's
Mr.
the theme.
Snuffles.
It-
Always here.
What's his name?
Mr. Snuffles.
Mr. Snuffles, of course. Hello, Mr. Snuffles. It's nice to meet you.
He's very sweet. He's happy to be here too.
Great. Yes. Great. Good to have him. Um, yeah, I've been on that journey of like, I guess you could say trimming, for lack of a better word, like trimming my relationships and friendships for about a year now. Um, Pretty much like when COVID came, like the quarantine came, it just changed everything, I think for most people. But for me, it was like, I'm not constantly out at events and stuff. So it's like I get to see who do I really want and like what like so a main motivator for me was FOMO, like the fear of missing out. And
Yeah, definitely.
COVID kind of made it almost like made it go away because there was no missing out. Everyone's doing exactly what I'm doing, staying at home. So then it
Mhm,
made me look like, okay, so now that I'm not what's the word, motivated by FOMO, it's like who do I really want? Like who can I enjoy just going for a simple walk because that's really all you could do, especially in the thick of quarantine. Um,
mhm,
you can't go to a bar or bowling or whatever it is you like to do. So it's like who can I just enjoy a simple walk with? And so I started, leaning more towards those people. And I didn't want to appear needy. That was another thing, but like I kind of threw that out the window. And I
mhm,
was like, you know what, whatever. It's okay to trust again, like my small group of friends and appear needy to them because um, it's better than it's just it's like being vulnerable. It's being trusting. Like I I went to them for something that I need, which is like friendship, companionship, connectivity. Um, yeah, it just feels good. And what I want to say is that like it kind of hurt to let the other ones die. Hurt
mhm.
a little bit. Then I realized
Yeah.
that it's better that I did because some people were like, I don't know, not not really. They weren't really good for me anyway. So
Mhm.
again, I realized I was hanging out with them because I thought I was like missing out with something. So that's why I went and hung out with them. But yeah, now I realize it really is all about the quality of people. Um,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, and rant. This is the end
And rant.
here.
Yeah, I feel very similar. It is about the quality of people, but that's hard to discern sometimes, you
Yes.
know. I think you're drawn towards people or situations that you want to get some sort of validation from.
Mhm.
But those situations and people can often be the wrong things or the wrong kinds of situations for you because you shouldn't be seeking validation from anyone.
Yeah.
But it feels good. It's kind of like a drug. You're like, ooh, I don't know if this person will like me. And then you're like, ooh, like they like me. They want to hang out. And then maybe they don't show you as much attention. So you're like, I don't know. And it's just a never ending cycle.
Yeah. It's
So,
a roller coaster.
yeah.
Yeah, I think like me, I've been trying to find a blend of like finding my own validation, but also finding some other people's validation. But again, not everyone's. So like,
Mhm.
again, I used to have so many friends and it was like, I'm not doing that anymore. if I just have the same like small little cheerleading group of like 3 to 5 people, that's enough for me, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. I
Yeah.
like cheer I like being a cheerleader.
Yeah. 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 They're both men and women. So I just pictured like my friends being of both men and women just in cheerleading costumes, male cheerleading
Pigtails.
costumes and female cheerleading costumes, of course. Ken, he's our man. If he can't do it,
Yeah.
we have a few minutes left, like 2.5 minutes.
Mhm,
We talked a lot about friendships. We didn't really talk about romantic or familial. So anything you want to say there?
mhm. Um, I'll try to touch on both. I'll start with romantic. I think that this time, oof, I don't know. I think romantic relationships will most likely take the average person a lifetime to figure out. Because there's a lot of, other factors that influence how your romantic relationships are going to go, which include how your friendships are and how your familial relationships are. Um, so it's definitely very complex. However, I think that romantic relationships, out of the three kinds that we've been talking about, may be the least important. Not saying that they're not important at all, but I think that, and I'm pretty certain that I will be able to live a fulfilled and happy life, even if I don't have romantic relationships. However, without strong familial relationships or friendships, I'm not sure if I, would be really happy and fulfilled.
Mhm.
And furthermore, good romantic relationships are kind of, they're almost like a mix, or they need components of familial relationship and friendship, right? Like you need to feel comfortable around your romantic partner like they are your best friend. And you
Mhm.
also need to be able to count on them like they are your family member.
Mhm.
So,
And you may live with them, which is very much like a familial thing for a bit.
exactly, you may start a family with them. So,
See, that's
you
a
need
fine line.
to,
It's interesting.
yeah.
Your lover can
Uh,
be your best friend and can be a family member. It's really crazy.
mhm, yeah. And for family relationships, I think um, as we get older, uh, it can be a little bit scary and complicated to navigate because your family members also get older and you need to learn how to prepare yourself, and be confident that you'll be able to be okay without having those relationships forever,
Mm.
which is really sad.
Yeah,
But I think it's been something like, I don't know, haunting me and a little bit scary to think
yeah,
about.
yeah. I feel the same way. I think there's a transition of like after college, transitioning from like childhood ish to adulthood. I wish it was earlier than that, but in today's society, it's like sometimes college is high school part two. So
Yeah.
yeah, transitioning to adulthood is crazy. It's like, wait, so I'm an adult now. What does that make my
Mhm.
adult parents? Older adults? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I
We're
get it.
all
I'm
just
feeling the same thing.
children.
Huh?
I said we're all just children. We're all just high school part two. All of us.
Ah, not me, not anymore.
Not anymore.
I'm an adult, like that Lonely Island song. I'm an adult.
Yeah, yeah.
I threw it on the ground. I take this and end the call.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Uh,
So anyway, I think this is a good place to stop it. Anything else you want to maybe put a little cherry on top and add.
Um, that even though, as we get older, relationships are really complicated, just know at the end of the day, you always have Mr. Snuffles to come home to.
Oh man. I don't even know where it is. I have an Australian friend who gave me a little stuffed wombat. I don't know where it is. I'll have to find
Oh,
it.
a wombat, so fun.
Yeah, yeah. So his name is Wally the Wombat, of course. So
Ooh, Wally.
yeah, we all need our own little things. So anyway, speaking of relationships, I'm really happy for this one, for our friendship. So
Me too, so much.
so that's
Thank
it.
you for continuing to be in my life, even though I'm always late and lazy and a mess.
That's okay. You were on time for my birthday party that one year, and that's all that matters.
That one year, like 4 years ago.
Yep.
Amazing. That
Yeah.
was some good lasagna. That was a good. They had some good red sauce. I
Yeah,
remember that was a good place.
that place was really good. I'm actually
I
it's
had a martini. Oh my god.
wow. You remember
Yeah,
the full landscape of the meal.
yeah, I do. I do. Wow. I was
Yeah.
young.
It was a it was a good night. Yeah. Anyway, I'm still recording, so I'm gonna end it here.
Okay, end it.